For more comparisons, content, and tips, drawings, and giveaways, please visit the Tractor channel. Hi guys and girls, this is Rick with the Tractor channel, and today we're going to have a little lesson in hydraulics. And you might be thinking, well, what's this old guy know about hydraulics and what's he talking about? And in this little video, I'm actually going to be talking about taking your Chinese mini excavator, that most of these come in the ISO excavator configuration on your controls, which means that if you move this lever, this left lever over here, I'm trying to show it with my mouse, if you move that left lever right there forwards and backwards, you're going to be moving the main boom up and down. If you move that lever right to left, it's going to work these valves, this valve right here. It's actually going to be this outside valve right here, and it's going to work your bucket. In turn, this left one over here, and this is when you're sitting in it, it's going to be your right looking at it, and sitting in it, it's going to be your left. If you move this handle left to right, it's going to move your house. If you move it forward to backwards, it's going to move your well, I get confused because I change these things all the time. So in the ISO configuration, if you move this right here forward and backwards, you're going to be moving your stick, okay, in the ISO configuration. So over here, if you move this lever on your right hand forward and backwards, you're going to be raising and lowering your main boom assembly. Now, getting back to the point of how does this old man know about hydraulics? What's his background? Okay, I spent 15 years building remote control cranes, huge cranes. But these cranes back then, now we have, well, we had them then too, pilot controls and all kinds of different controls. These are very standard. These are the most basic controls you could get. Now, a lot of the higher dollar cranes that I would work on had the pilot controls where you would have the operator's controls way closer to where you're setting, not have to lean forward like this right here. But what I would do is I would design hydraulic systems that you could actually drive your crane from up to 150, 200 feet. Of course, have 2 lever joysticks. The cranes did too. Some of them had 4 levers. But I would build and design these systems that when you had a radio control box you carried around, kind of like your joysticks now, and actually those joysticks now work really good for a lot of these high dollar equipment actually have some of that joystick technology inside of them. They don't tell you that, but it's pretty much the same exact joystick from your Nintendo or your Game Boy or what. I don't even know the names of the products that you guys play with on TVs and stuff, but it's pretty similar. So this is the simplest that hydraulics get right here. So if you watch this video and what I'm telling you here worked on your machine, or what I'm telling you here didn't work on your machine, like I said, if you changed it and it acted really erratically and it wasn't very smooth, or if you have the same machine, the Machpro MP15, then let everybody know, because that's what everybody's going to be doing, is they're going to be coming looking at this video and they're going to want to know, hey, can they change their machine? And if you just leave in the comments, hey, this is the brand I have, I was able to change mine and it works fine. Or if you say, yeah, I have the same brand, and what I had to actually do is I had to move that you know, my inlet and move my valve around to get it to work, then that's what I had to do. So just let everybody know, because that's what these videos are for. They're to help people learn. And on the Tractor channel, we like all tractors and all excavators. We're not, it doesn't matter because it's a $2 or $6 million machine, Caterpillar, yada yada. We like them all, man. I like the cheapest Chinese excavator, and I'll dig with it. And I've made a lot of my own backhoes, like you'll see in some of my videos, like they sell at Harbor Freight. I was building those 20, 30 years ago. So I like them all. If you only want to spend $5 grand on an excavator to work around your house, or you just don't want to spend the 30, 40, 60, 300,000 of a name brand machine. These are good little machines. And if the main thing I can stress though is if you're in a, you know, keep a good viscosity oil in there. Like if you're, because these machines get really hot. So man, it's nothing to run 50, 60 viscosity oil in these things in the hotter temperatures. And make sure and keep your everything greased. And I usually convert it over to the regular grease zerks, but greasing your machine every day or often will help everything last a lot longer. And all it is if you see right over here, this is your this is how you set your pressure regulator over here. So you see this nut and bolt coming out of the top of this gold thing over here. So when in this valve block, when you move these levers, it controls these valves up and down or left to right by the way you move that lever. Okay, these ones in the middle here, they just have those sticks on them, and you just pull those sticks forward or backwards, and it's working a valve inside of there the same exact way. Okay, and then there's one on the end here, and so I think the two on the out of these three, the two outsides ones are your track forward and backwards. And then that middle one is your blade up and down, dozer blade up and down. And then this far one over here is for your auxiliaries. There's a little auxiliary lines that go up to the stick on there. So as these come in the ISO configuration, which means this valve right here is going to work the main boom. And if you were in the backhoe mode on another excavator, this valve over here, right now in the ISO configuration, this valve right here, let's see, which one would it be? It would be this one right here. This would be your, in the ISO configuration, this would be your stick boom, and this would be your main boom. So all you would do, and like I say in the rest of this video, I'll suggest you need to mark both these hoses up and down. Same way over here, up and down. I would take them, and I would take the white electrical tape, and I would mark all these hoses, top and bottom of whatever they do. Like over here, top and bottom of your auxiliary circuit. You know, top and bottom over here of your bucket, because that's the cylinder they're going to operate. And it's pretty simple over here. You got your, this is your main hydraulic feed, and then you got your return down below there. Now, the reason they have this valve body set up like this is your main boom lever, and that main boom cylinder is your largest cylinder. So it works out good because your hydraulics enter, the hydraulic fluid enters on this side, and then it relieves itself and goes out the other side. So the problem is when you move to be using this valve down here, everything in front of that valve, both of these two valves take hydraulic fluid before it would get down to this valve down here. That's why when you actually change these to the backhoe position, what you would do to change it to the backhoe position, like I said, you would take these two hoses, put it down here where these two hoses are. These are your dipper, your stick, and then you would move the dipper and the stick hoses back over to this valve over here. So now in the backhoe configuration, when you move this stick in and out over here, that would move your dipper or your stick, whatever you guys want to call it. If you move this valve over here forward and backwards, it would move your main boom. So all you're doing is switching those hoses. But theoretically, it really doesn't work. I tried it on this one, and it didn't work very good because if you're moving your bucket, you're taking some of that hydraulic flow away from it. And before, so like me, I'm so used to operating these machines, I could be doing easily 3 things at one time, where this is really only in this position, in the ISO position, you can cheat it and it looks fairly smooth when you're operating it. But once, like I said, you move that main boom down to here, you're doing all kinds of stuff before that. You're working your bucket, you're working your stick, and that's all taking hydraulic flow away before it gets down here to your main boom. Okay? Now, you can actually do this if you want to. You can actually switch these valves where it feeds around. You could actually take that valve and then put it over here, but I just didn't really feel with like messing with that. But you could actually do that. So if you're really in the heart to do that, you actually could take your feed and your return and move it to this other end of the valve. And a pilot control system, they're just different. They would have, or even one with more flow and more sections of a pump would have maybe just 2 or 3 of these together at one time. And, you know, they'd be ones you wouldn't be using at one time. Now, if you, let me show you a picture here so you know what they look like. Okay, here's what the pump looks like on that little excavator. And you can see it's only a single section pump. So for those of you that don't understand how these hydraulic pumps work, this is a picture of the hydraulic pump. And this is a single section. So on the other side, there's a hose going into it. And then on this side is the hose going out of it. So the other side is our inlet. This is our outlet. And this is how it creates the gallons per minute, the flow rate. Now this is only one section here. Some of these pumps have as many as 3 and 4 sections on there, or they can be internally and ganged inside, and the actual pipes can be inside. You really can't tell. You'll see they're a lot bigger pump. But what this allows us to do is it only allows us to do pretty much one function at a time with a 1-section pump. So if we had a 2-section pump on here, it might work our bucket and our dipper, and the first section might work our boom. So that's why it's kind of hard to change things around on these. And more expensive excavators and stuff like that, they have 3 and 4 section pumps on them. So they have a lot more expensive, a lot bigger gallon per minute pumps. That's why they're able to do more things. But I just thought I'd show you guys, explain to you how pumps actually work. Here's how it hooks to the motor right here. But the problem with single section pumps are it can really only, it's like those little backhoes you put on the back of a tractor to just have the one line coming to them. You really can only do one function at a time. And if you do look like you're doing a good job and you're smooth with that machine, you're just cheating other valves on there. Because if you have like your boom up in the air, it doesn't take a lot of hydraulic pressure to bring it down, but it does take a lot of hydraulic pressure to move the boom up and, you know, to extend hydraulics. It's just, it all depends on the engineering and how it's set up. But so on this particular little excavator, I was able to change it to the backhoe configuration, but it acted real erratically. I kind of shortened this video a little bit. You can continue watching it. It does show you how I changed, like in name brand equipment, they'll just have a lever that you turn and it automatically switches it from backhoe to SAE, or backhoe and SAE are the same, and ISO and excavator are the same. So this one's in the excavator controls right now. And then on some of the, like Caterpillar, you actually change it on the control panel electronically. You just make your change from ISO to SAE. And once you're in the SAE mode, then you're in the backhoe mode. So they are easier to change, but I just didn't want to change this one because probably whoever will end up with this machine would probably like the ISO configuration better. And you know, it's up to you. I'm just old, and coming from the crane industry, the backhoe controls is just, SAE is really more normal for me than the ISO excavator controls. So anyways, hope you guys learned a little bit about hydraulics, and please like and subscribe. And one thing, if you do subscribe to the tractor channel, you also get entered for our giveaways and drawings, which is pretty neat. So thank you, and please like and subscribe. For more comparisons, content, and tips, drawings, and giveaways, please visit the Tractor channel.